Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Now if you'll notice I have a jam track that's playing conveniently in the background in the key of A minor. Well, I wanted to show you how to play some A minor, A natural minor licks. And that's something we haven't done at Active Melody. And so I've got 4 licks in this little lesson series that I think you're going to like. I tried to keep them simple with not a lot of notes, but yet powerful. So here's the first one. I'm going to break it down. By the way, I'm going to break all of these down and show you how to do them note for note with tablature and jam track. So if you want all the materials, make sure you check out ActiveMelody.com. So here's lick number 1 that we're going to learn. That only has 4 notes in it. Here's the second one. Also has 4 notes. Stole this one from Mark Knopfler. Very simple, but powerful. Now here's lick number 3. Again, that one only has 4 notes. And here's the last one. Go ahead and repeat that one again. Now that last one had 7 notes in it, but it's still pretty simple to do, and I wanted to really show you that what makes a solo is the inflection and the vibrato and the bending and all of those things. It's not necessarily a lot of flash or a lot of that kind of technique. That can help, and there's a time and a place for it, but to me what makes a solo moving are those nuances. Alright, so let's get started. Now before we jump into the specific licks, I think it's important to give you the context of the parameters that we're working within. And by the way, I did mention this in the intro. If you want to download the tablature or the jam tracks to practice along this lesson, you can get them at www.activemelody.com. I have lots of materials there as well, outside of just this lesson. So anyway, so what we're going to do then is I want to explain what the natural minor scale is. Now we haven't covered that one, or I haven't covered that one. This is new territory for me. But don't freak out when you hear, oh no, not another scale. It's really just the minor pentatonic scale with a few extra notes. That's how I like to think of these things. So I'm going to make some assumptions that you know what the minor pentatonic scale is. If you don't, I do have a whole course of almost 5 hours worth of material breaking down the different patterns of the minor pentatonic scale at Active Melody. But you don't have to have that. It does help, though. It does help kind of, some of these notes are going to be similar to the minor pentatonic scale. So anyway, I think of minor pentatonic scale as kind of my root scale. In fact, most of the soloing that happens, especially blues-based, really are kind of some derivation of the minor pentatonic scale. So if we're in the key of A, and you're in it's a minor key song, you can use some of these extra notes that come from the natural minor scale to really jazz up your playing and make it sound even better. Now, you could play just the minor pentatonic scale. So if something was in A minor, you could play any of those notes, those bluesy licks that come out of the minor pentatonic scale are going to work great over it. But there's a few extra notes that I'm going to show you to kind of work in. So here's the minor pentatonic scale, just quick as a reference. I'm just going to kind of buzz through it here in the key of A. This is the 5th fret, by the way. All of this is in pattern 1. Now we are now going to add a few extra notes. So here we go. Hear that one? So the 7th fret, 6th string. That one's already in there, the 8th fret. Now we added, or those two are the same, but now we're going to add the 8th fret, 5th string. So those are the two notes we've added. So we've added that one, and we've added that one. Let me do that slowly. Okay, let's keep walking up. We're now on the 4th string, 5th fret. 4th string, 7th fret, and those two are the same note, same two that would be in the minor pentatonic scale. Now we're going to add a new one here on the 3rd string. It's going to be the 3rd string, 4th fret, and I kind of jump over here and grab that with my pinky, or sorry, my pointer finger. I need to learn my fingers. Then after that, we're going to come up. We're just going to slide up 1 fret to the 5th fret, 3rd string. So let's back it up and play all of that. Okay, now we're back in the realm of the minor pentatonic scale. So now I'm going to play with my ring finger, 7th fret, 3rd string. Then I'm going to come up to the 2nd string on the 5th fret. Here's another new one that we're about to add. Notice my middle finger went down on the 6th fret, 2nd string. So that note right there was not part of the minor pentatonic scale. Now we're going to come back. That note is in the minor pentatonic scale, 8th fret, 2nd string. And then we're going to go up to the top string there, or the 1 string on the 5th fret. So let's back up and play to that point. So here's what we have slowly. Okay, you can hear how it sounds kind of sad. You know, it doesn't leave any room in there for that major happier sound. It's all kind of doom and gloom. Now after that, I'm just going to show you a few more notes in the same natural minor scale. That is the 7th fret, 1st string, and that is not part of the minor pentatonic scale, so that's another new note. And then we're going to go to the 8th fret, 1st string, which is in the minor pentatonic scale. So these are your new notes. You've got this guy. You've got this guy. You've got this guy. And let's see, what else have you got? This one down here. And that one as well. So those are the extra notes that you can work into the minor pentatonic scale to give you that natural minor scale. So if you hear something that's being played in a very minor key, and by the way, minor key doesn't necessarily mean it has sort of a sad sound, but it doesn't have to be slow tempo. It can be up tempo and still minor key. So it's not anything to do with tempo. It's the key. So now that you understand at least the notes of the natural minor scale, hopefully that'll give you just that. Will give you some ideas for how you might make your playing sound even more interesting if you're playing along with a jam track like the one that's provided with this lesson. You have
some different ways to approach soloing. So so now that we have that context, let me go ahead and show you the first lick. Now the first, so we are in the key of A, so these licks are all going to be in A, and the first thing that I played was and what I'm doing is I'm starting here on the third string, 5th fret, my pointer finger, and then I'm going to come up to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. Now you'll notice that those two notes were covered when I went through the natural minor scale. Those are also in the minor pentatonic scale. Now the next thing that I do is I play. So what I do is I slide from 7th fret to the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and I do it twice. Now the reason I'm sliding there, and by the way, some of you are going, hey, wait a minute, that note's not in that thing that you just showed. It actually is. If you'll notice, it's the same note as the second string, 5th fret. But you can hear the difference. If I played it like this, it just wouldn't have the same flow. It wouldn't sound as much like the human voice. To me, sliding in, it's almost like you're singing it. And a lot of times that's the nuance you're trying to hit, is you're really trying to emulate the voice. If you think about vibrato, that's what the voice does when you're kind of running out of air. So, running out of breath. So that's what the goal is here, is to really not worry about a lot of these lessons that I see online are about a lot of flash, and to me some of the most powerful things you can hear are when somebody just really hits with a really nice inflection. B.B. King is one of the best. That's why he is popular as he is even to this day, is because he's mastered that. So those are the first 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. And I slide up to that twice with some vibrato. Just kind of bend it a little bit. Then I played. Those 2 are the same. I came back again, so those 3 are the same. Back to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And then back to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. One thing I should point out too, in this first lick, all the notes we're playing are on the 3rd string. So we never even leave that 3rd string. Wanted to make this easy for you so that you can play a powerful sounding solo without getting caught up in all of the other things that can really throw you off guard. So that one's going to be a stretch for some of you to stretch from 9th fret back to the 5th fret, back to the 7th. Just practice that. And after you do it enough, muscle memory will kick in, and that won't be hard at all. And now the second time I did it, I went, and that's that fourth note. I said there were 4 notes. That's the 4th one. I actually kind of slid up to the 8th fret on the 3rd string, which is part of the blues scale. So that note actually fits in the minor pentatonic scale. Basically, is the same thing as the blues scale, except for this note. That's kind of called the blue note, and here it also exists down there. So when you're playing that scale, it's hear it, and what that note allows you to do is get that real bluesy sounding. That. So anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. So the second time through it goes, and then back to the 9th fret, and back to the 5th fret. Again, all on the 3rd string. Now that's it. That's the lick. But what makes the lick is playing it soft, or really going after it in the speed at the beginning, and then slowing it down.
but it's finding those things, and I can't really teach that. That part really kind of comes from your interpretation of it. But you don't want it to sound robotic. You don't want it to just. The goal here is not just to hit the notes. That's only half the equation. The other half is how you make them sound. So another variation on that might be to, instead of going to slide up to that 8th fret, you may want to bend that. So it'd sound like this. Hear that? It's just a very slight bend, but you're hitting the same note. Or you could even bend the first one. Instead of sliding, you could bend it. You could go. That takes a little bit more control to try and bend and hit that note. But those are some variations on that. And like I said, there's no right answer. But that's what I did for that first leg. So now let me go ahead and play through it with the jam track, and you can hear it in context. Okay, so we got the jam track going. I'll go ahead and play through that first leg. And the nice thing about a jam track like this is you can just jump in wherever. Okay, let's try it again. See the bend? So those are some different ways you can do it. Now that time I threw in a different bend, but just throwing it in because I want you to think outside the box on this stuff. Don't just take what I give you. Let that be the launch pad, and then take it to a whole new level. See, these are all using the notes I just showed you. So there you go. That's the first lick. A lot of things you can do with that. Have fun with that one, and we'll jump into the second. All right. So now let's break down the second lick. Now here's what it sounds like on its own. Pretty simple. 4 notes again, just like the first lick. Wanted to limit the amount of notes that we're playing, so that we can focus on other things. But this one's right out of the Mark Knopfler playbook. I've heard him use this on Brothers in Arms and many other songs. But I just love that sound. It kind of surprises your, or surprises my ear anyway. So here's how I'm doing that. I'm starting here on the 7th fret, 4th string, and I'm picking here with my right hand. Then I'm going to come up and play the 5th fret, 2nd string, and I pluck that with my right hand. I pluck that with my ring finger. Now you don't have to do that, by the way. You can use a pick for that. You could pick those. It's just easier for me. My hand's already in position, and so I think it's easier to use your ring finger and pluck that if you can. Now the 3rd note is played with either. Sometimes I do it with my ring finger. Usually I do it with my ring finger. Sometimes I use my my middle finger on that. But it's the 3rd string, 7th fret. So those are the first 3 notes. Then it repeats, and then the second time through it comes down to close that out. You come down to the 5th fret, 3rd string, and then back to the note you started with, which is 7th fret, 4th string. And that's it. The last time through, I used a little different tempo to get back, but but do what you want with it. I don't want to be so prescriptive that you feel that you have to do exactly what I'm showing you. These are just suggestions, but hopefully you can take these 4 licks that are part of this and rearrange them or pull parts of them and be able to make your own solo in the key of A minor. So now I'm going to go ahead and play through this with the jam track so you can hear it in context. Okay, so here we go. Lick 2. It's nice to find a lick that's repeatable. You can just plug it in anywhere. I love licks like that. It really doesn't matter what the chords are doing behind the scene, what the bass is doing. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just play your lick and it's going to work. And that's really what. And so imagine combining some of that first lick with the second. You can start to hear how you could take those pieces and put them together like a puzzle and make a little solo from the first as from the second. Alright, so now we're on to the third lick, which sounds like this. And real sad, real sappy sounding, but I just thought it was perfect. It's, we're in the key of A minor, and it just sounds like these are the kind of licks that if you take elements of these, you can pull these and turn them into whatever you want. So all of that happened. There's 4 notes with that. All of it happened on the first string. And what I do is I start here on the 5th fret, 1st string. Then I come to the 7th fret, 1st string. And instead of just playing the 8th fret, I bend to that from the 7th fret. So I go. And then after I bend it, I release and hit the note that's there, land that note on the 7th fret, 1st string. So it's. Now I know what's going to happen. A lot of you are going to say, how are you getting your vibrato on that 1st string? When I try it, I'm bumping into other strings in it. And all I can tell you is you just have to practice it. I can't there's once you feel it, it's like it'll click with you. And once you get it, you'll have it. But just practice that over and over again. Trying to do it without making it sound too obnoxious by hitting other strings. In the beginning, you're going to do that, and I'm hitting that 2nd string a little bit. Hear it? But what happens here at the tip of my finger is somehow I've figured out how to kind of. Oh, well, here's one thing. So if the note is this note, which it is with my ring finger, I take my other 2 fingers behind it to help kind of leverage that string. But they also, as I'm doing this, these fingers are kind of muting that 2nd string, just a little bit, just slightly. It's almost, it happens in the subconscious, but the middle finger in particular kind of sticks out enough to just sort of mute that. So. I love Eric Clapton. He's my favorite. And watching, I remember there was 24 Nights came out, which was a great album, live album. And I was watching his vibrato. There were some tight shots, with the camera, and watching how he did it. And I thought to me it looked like he was playing a violin. You see how people. But anyway, that's how I learned it, was from watching him. Now after that, we play the 7th fret, 8th fret, and then we jump up here to the 10th fret, on the 1st string, and then back to the 8th fret, and back to the 7th fret. Really sappy sounding. And then that just repeats. And then to end, I just go. That's just, again, there's that little half bend on the 7th fret, 1st string. Final notes on the 5th fret, 1st string. So let me play all of that. I'll play through it slowly, so you have that as a reference. Okay, now let's go ahead and play through it with the jam track. Alright, here we go with lick 3, all played on the 1st string. Really sad. There's some variations you can do with that. So just get creative now that you know the notes. You can even bend up here on the 10th fret. So anyway, I wanted to kind of mention that. That's digressing a little bit, but so now that we have that, imagine taking licks from taking that 1st lick, 2nd lick, 3rd lick, putting it all together. There's a 2nd lick. And you can really build a solo out of that. So let's move on to the 4th lick.